Can the Bruins survive to live another day? Well, the Islanders got them on the ropes, that's for sure. We got a Game 6 tonight on Long Island. It's going to be a thriller, and the Canes are donezo. We're down to 6. It's World Hockey Report. Cody Janzen, Katie Caldwell here, presented by Lordco Auto Parts. Now open in Edmonton, Alberta on St. Albert Trail, Northwest. Wow. Down to 6. It feels like these playoffs have flown by. Let's snap it over to BC. Katie, what's going on?
Well, when everybody keeps sweeping each other, I mean, come on, give us a few more.
Only one sweep. Only one sweep. Come on, give Carolina their respect. They won a game.
I just mean in the playoffs in general, it's wild.
Yeah, Montreal. More playoff series wins in 8 days than Toronto has in something like 17 years. Oof, what a franchise to cheer for. You almost have to feel bad. Almost. I'm not saying you have to fully feel bad for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but Carey Price. I don't think anyone, and I mean, we're not going to go back on our predictions because those things can get burnt with fire for a second round. But like Winnipeg, what are you doing? I don't care how much you want to blame it on Mark Scheifele being out. That's a tough look. And we are going to get into all of our playoff, not predictions anymore, recaps, thoughts, all of that coming up. Plus in about 14 minutes time, Catherine Silverman, goalie analyst from InGoal Magazine, going to join us. There's a lot of goalie talk. I'm sure Carey Price might come up. Darcy Kemper just picked up another gold. Then it's Mitch, Giguere, video coach in the KHL. He's going to join us in 40 minutes. It'll be fun. Pick his brain. Those are some of the stories that I like talking about. You know, the good guys of the game, the journeymans. He's been everywhere. So it's going to be awesome to hear his story. Dive into that. Of course, World Hockey Report presented by Lordco Auto Parts. For almost 50 years now, Lordco, household name across Western Canada, proudly Canadian owned and operated. Much more than just car parts. New store, St. Albert Trail, Northwest, right here in Edmonton. Huge selection, aftermarket auto parts, accessories, dedicated truck center. Whether you're looking for high performance parts, shop equipment, paint, body supplies, outdoor gear, whatever you need to get your RV on the road, boat on the water, they got great camping supplies. Are you a big camper? Do you go camping anytime, Katie, or what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I live in the Greens.
Unreal camping gear out there, hiking gear too. Lordco, the best place. Go check them out 7 days a week, lordco.com. Oh, wow. Where do we start with the playoffs? I'll snap it over to you, and I want you to pick a series here. Give me a hot take. Give me a thought, because what a second round we're being treated to.
What a second round, but should we talk about the Scheifele comments? Because I think that's what's buzzing online right now. Have you seen this?
The Scheifele, like recent comments?
Yeah, so...
I didn't refresh my Twitter. That's a problem.
Go to
read it. Break the news.
Yeah, go to Murat's Twitter here. Man, is it ever hilarious, the comments that are coming in. So, let me just find it here.
Great live show here as we're both just ripping through Twitter. Okay, go. If you've got it, give her.
Okay, let me just find it. He has a lot of tweets coming up here.
They are doing their season end of season availabilities, so.
Yeah, okay. Here, you start talking while I find this.
Okay, well, we are looking for Mark Scheifele comments. Oh, here. I thought it was going to be tried to be shut down by Philip Deneau. Oh, I thought I was going to be tried to be shut down by Philip Deneau. Instead, it was the Department of Player Safety that shut me down. Wow.
There it is.
Hot take by Mark Scheifele. Did we talk about that last week about the hit?
Not a whole lot. And I think this comment makes it pretty interesting to speak about because, like, how did he go from being such a likable player in this league in a week to just going, everyone online is just going, what are you doing right now? Like, I saw Scheifele's face when he was starting to go down the tunnel, and then he turned around and he's looking at Evans laying there. He looked horrified. He looked sick like most normal people would. Did he not, like, if Jake Evans gets up and he skates off or whichever, fine. But did he not see him laying face down on the ice and have to be stretchered off, and you're going to drop comments like that? Like, I'm all for players having more personality. I'm all for running your mouth a little bit more, because rather than just pucks and deep pucks on net BS that we're trained to hear, but get real. Like, where's the accountability in this situation?
I have to give you credit because you had like a top 5 funny tweet of the month when you like tweeted something. It was like guy gets stabbed, and you're like, well, that's playoff hockey.
Bro,
I thought
that's
that.
just
Yeah, I don't remember it word for word, but I thought that was funny. And I do agree with what you're saying is totally wrong time, wrong place for Mark Scheifele. And I mean, hey, the wires cross. I don't care if he doesn't swear. I mean, it's a dangerous hit. I understand why he does try to play the body. It's tough to play the puck in that situation. If, the puck hops over his stick, if Evans misses it by chance, we're not talking about it as much nearly. So I'll give him a little bit of leeway there. But again, I mean, you intentionally went for the hit. Everyone hits to hurt. That's the NHL, and you deserve the punishment. I thought it was going to be 2 games. I did. I honestly thought it was going to be 2 games. He doesn't have much of a reputation, but to sit there and, I mean, bitch and complain because you got 4 when you possibly ended Evans' playoffs. I don't know. Has he been back yet? I don't think so. I'm just running myself into a hole here. But yeah, like you gave him a concussion. You possibly ended his playoffs, and now you're going to play the sad puppy card. No thanks.
See, and that's the thing is I'm looking at Montreal right now, and their leaders are leading. And when I look at Scheifele making those comments, I just go, man, this is your time right now to be a leader. You already screwed the team by making that hit, and it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. And the Jets, I think there should have been more guys step into that next man up mentality. Obviously, they were totally thrown off by a number of the injuries, the suspension. Like, there's a number of different factors to it. But man, you got to be a leader. You made your mistake. Be accountable.
Their best player in that series was Logan Stanley. I don't know. You talk and you pump Blake Wheeler's tires and you pump Nick Wheeler's tires, and everyone talks about Pierre-Luc Dubois like he's some superstar. Well, show up when it matters. I mean, that's when you play the damn game. It doesn't matter what you do in the regular season. It doesn't matter what you did 2 playoffs ago. It's all about the here and now. It's the recency bias in the NHL. That's when you have to step up, and that's where the best players step up. Look at Carey Price. I mean, they're down 3-1 in a series, and he flips it on and becomes the best goaltender in the world again. That's what elite NHL players do, and that's what $10 million+ players do.
Well, you bring up Dubois, too. He's got to be super hurt, right? Like, he looked...
Is that the excuse? We're going to use the excuse he's hurt?
Well, I don't. That's why I'm asking that question, because I'm watching him going, there's no way that you can be fine right now. And I know that everybody's playing hurt for the most part in the playoffs, but he was one that I'm watching him just going, either this did not work out or he's way more hurt than we anticipated. Because where was he? What was he doing?
It looked like those shifts in Columbus where he was checked out. How funny were those?
I'll never forget.
Those are some of my favorite videos of all time. Like, just NHL checked out, trade me right now, slap shot.
Oh, I live for that. That is really fun NHL drama. That's a really good point. But yeah, let's swing over to round 2. Do you want to do Bruins and Isles? Sorry, Bruins and the New York Saints.
Okay, the Bruins got 4 penalties. Everyone's freaking out on it. I was talking about it on a show earlier. Everyone's going, oh, the reffing's atrocious. Kelly Sutherland was atrocious in the Canes-Tampa series. The NHL needs an overhaul. Who's going to make reffing perfect? Do you know how fast the NHL is? It's never been faster. How are we faulting the refs in these situations? Like, oh, Bruce Cassidy, you want to go and bitch and complain about the refs? You're going to get a fine. And don't be like, oh, it's 5 times worse than Tom Wilson. Well, no, hey, Bruce Cassidy, you want to fix it? Go ref a game. I guarantee you he's never reffed a hockey game. He's watching from his luxury box. He's watching replays on NBC, and he's making decisions off that. Refs don't have the luxury. And hey, I was a player, and I was harsh on refs. I was an absolute ass to refs. I'll be the first to admit it. But like, you also have to take a step back and eat some humble pie here and be like, hey, we had 4 penalties. We can't blame the refs for a loss.
Well, no, you're right. You can't blame the refs. But then he's kind of going, oh, we were just playing around, and he's making excuses for whatever. One line that he said that really stood out was when he said they need to quit listening to these outside influences and get it done right. That sounds pretty accusatory to me. Like, that doesn't sound like we're just poking around, having a bit of fun at Trotz. When you use those words about the referees, and this is in a season where we have a Tim Peel hot mic, and the NHL is like, the NHL is looking at this going, we don't have a lot of room to play around with this and let these guys make these comments. Like, what did you think of that? Because that line, not a lot of people have focused on, and it did seem pretty accusatory to me, basically saying how influenced they're being by the outside, not doing their jobs.
Now, when I heard that, I poked a joke at it, of course. That's just who I am. But I said, like, does Bruce Cassidy actually think Kelly Sutherland's scrolling through Instagram at night or what?
Yeah,
Like,
get real.
I mean, that's where I first off go to it. But also, I mean, you bring up the Tim Peel situation, and I think there was a line drawn in the sand where the NHL has to decide, are we going to back our GMs who speak to the media? And I mean, GMs don't bring in a ton of money for the league. I get it, they're the hands in the organization, but GMs aren't the ones actually bringing in dollars and cents.
No.
Or are we going to stick with the refs who are the reason we got to play the game? No refs, no game. It's as simple as that. I think from the NHL, they have to stick with their guns, be like, hey, we're hiring the best of the best. You know, they take it seriously. If you don't think the NHL takes refs seriously, it's an asinine thing to think about. But like, they have to back their refs. They have to be like, hey, we're putting the best people in this situation, and we're going to stand behind them. Say something about them, boom, you'll get fined. Learn your lesson.
Yeah. Well, and they looked like a pretty undisciplined team to be saying those kind of things. Like, they weren't calling everything on Boston. Like,
yeah,
right
you got Krejci, you got Krejci, Kupchak, and Barzal there, and all of a sudden they're gonna complain about refs in the same series.
Right at the beginning of the game, did you see the hit to the head by Nick Ritchie on Mayfield? Like, right to start it off? It's like, maybe you guys are setting the tone with a little lack of discipline here.
How about the Taylor Hall and Mayfield fight? I mean, what was he thinking? Like, if Taylor Hall goes and breaks his hand there, you got to assume that's one of the top 10 stupidest decisions in hockey. I mean, you know, it's almost like Vinny LeCavalier fighting Jerome Iginla. But again, I mean, at least Iginla is still a skilled guy.
Yeah, it's so true. And Boston's in a situation where they can't be playing around with injuries. Like, you can't be taking recreational injuries when Tuukka's obviously hurt. You're without Kevin Miller, Curtis Lazar, Brandon Carlo, like, their defense especially. So, like, if you're going to be on offense, you kind of have a responsibility to just be normal and not take a penalty or not get hurt doing something stupid.
Like, I love the energy and the emotion in a game, but I think that there's a right time and a right place for everything. And I don't know. I mean, just go and fight Jordan Eberle. I guess Hall and Eberle played together, but I just think they're lucky. They're lucky they escaped from that one already. We got to get to a couple other series here. Just going to let you know, NHL news by Pro Rock Hockey Sticks, family-owned Canadian company. Check them out today, prorock.com. The best sticks in the game, Pro Rock Hockey Sticks. Colorado, what are you doing? Fleury gifts you a goal and you can't win a game. I think their top line's frauds right now. I mean, McKinnon's gone absolute ghost mode. Landeskog and Rantanen aren't affecting games. I think they thought it was over. Cale Makar is clearly the best player on their team. And you know what? Fleury's making one big save that Philip Grubauer isn't making every single game. And they're down 3-2. It's embarrassing.
That is so funny. I'm almost speechless. I don't even know what to say. Obviously,
everyone was putting McKinnon in Gretzky and Lemieux territory in these playoffs. How do you put him in those like, you know, that you're talking about him in the same conversation of Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux, and for 3 games he's been borderline irrelevant?
I wouldn't say irrelevant. Has he been a little less noticeable? Yes, but I think that's being a bit dramatic.
Like, I mean, I'm dramatic as cause. I mean, that's...
Yes, we know. That's why we get along.
Yes.
That series is so interesting because, like, I don't even know where to start with that one. Vegas looks so good, and Colorado, when they get a power play, I'm almost like, that is so mesmerizing to me. And I think I get sucked in right back to, like, Colorado's perfect. They can do no wrong. And then 5-on-5, sometimes I just feel a bit underwhelmed. And I don't know if that's the play of the Avs, or I don't know if that's just the Knights have kind of entered the chat a bit more. Because they did, like, that first game, I don't know what was going on with them. But obviously that was just a disaster. And Leonard didn't play super well at all. But
that's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, really kind way to put it. But yeah, that series, I hope it goes the distance, because I think there's a lot more to be seen just between those two teams. Like, I don't picture the Avalanche just sitting back and going, oh, okay, well, it's not our year. Like, I think this is one where they're going to come out pretty hot because you think that they don't hear all this talk. You think that they don't hear all of us talking heads sitting here going, oh, who's Nathan MacKinnon anyways?
Now, that's not what I said. Now you're taking my stuff out of context here. But again, I think that they're going back to the Fortress, which is a very weird name. I still don't know if I like it or not in Vegas, but it's a pretty good playoff atmosphere. I'll give them half of some credit there. So you're in a tough situation. Fleury's playing great. I think that the Avs are a little shook up here, and it's really going to come down to, are their leaders capable to carry them through a game? Can Philip Grubauer steal a playoff game against one of the best goaltenders, of all time, and Marc-Andre Fleury, a guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famer, in my opinion? He could have his jersey retired in 2 cities by the end of his career. Like, can Philip Grubauer? You don't think if he wins a Stanley Cup in Vegas, you don't think he's...
Oh, I agree with you. Sorry, I'm shaking my head.
I thought you were shaking your head. I was
I'm Vegas, such a Flower fan, and you saw his professionalism last night with that garbage goal at the end of the first. But then see, think about how many goalies would be broken by that.
Yeah.
Especially in the playoffs in such a big spot. Like, he's such a professional, and the way that he came back in that game was just, it's Flower.
And he said after the game, too, like, mentally, if this was 10 years ago, I would have been done. 10, 15 years ago, my game was over. They might as well have pulled me after that one. Now he's obviously more mature. Yeah, he's phenomenal. I don't know what else to say about him. So, pretty impressive there. What series did we miss? Oh, Carolina, Tampa Bay. Is that the one we missed? Yeah, give me your. I said Carolina was done last week. I'm pretty sure you argued. I'm not sure. I can't confirm, but I'm pretty sure you argued. And boom, 5 games, their season's done.
Right, but you've been going in with the attitude the whole time of, it was over before the series even started, and they have no chance at coming back. Like, the Bolts were the better team. But it was a high-energy, tight series, and most games could have gone either way. Like, both of those things are allowed to be true. Vasilevsky was brilliant. Tampa was able to score on the power play. Carolina didn't. Like, to me, it was special teams and goaltending. And to you, it's like they're in different leagues. And I've never seen it that way. I think the games were entertaining. I wished it went longer just because it was fun. But we've always viewed the Canes pretty differently.
Yeah, but Carolina played entertaining games with Nashville too. So are we going to say Nashville's on the same, level as Tampa Bay because the games were entertaining?
No, I don't know. But their teams are built so differently. Like Nashville, I think a big part of that was UC Saros.
Do you think that Tampa has played anywhere close to their full potential in this series? Because I don't. I feel they are just being opportunistic on the power play. And that's just winning them the series. 5-on-5, I don't think they've been playing that great. They totally have another gear to get to. And, it's kind of like how they played against Dallas, where against the Islanders, the reason the Islanders were in the series was because Tampa took stupid penalties, and 5-on-5, they weren't phenomenal. Against Dallas, they played 5-on-5 phenomenal, and they really just, that's when they played to their true potential. So I still think Tampa's got another level to get to.
See, and I disagree with you in a way of I do agree that I don't think they were at their best 5-on-5, but I don't think it was because of the Bolts. I think it was because the Canes were shutting them down. Like I attest to the Canes playing well, which I know you don't. But I think that series was so much tighter than you have the whole time. I think the Canes held them 5-on-5 a lot of the time.
Well, end of the day, they won 1 game out of 5, so I'll stick with that. The 1A, 1B goaltending system never works. Rod Brendamore's got to figure that out before he becomes an elite coach in the NHL. We got to get off to a commercial break, though. Catherine Silverman's coming up here. We got some Tendy talk on the way. It's World Hockey Report. Cody Janzen, Katie Caldwell with you right here on 12.
Lordco Auto Parts has been a household name in communities across Western Canada since 1974. Lordco is proudly Canadian owned and operated, and now they're in Edmonton. Carrying much more than just car parts, their newest store in St. Albert Trail Northwest has a huge selection of aftermarket auto parts and accessories. Visit them today for an exceptional customer experience or learn more about their products and services at lordco.com. Take your game to the next level with Pro Rock hockey sticks. Pro Rock is changing the way we buy top-of-the-line twigs. They're lightweight, balanced, and provide the perfect kick point, whether you're a pro hockey player or a beer league legend. Pro Rock hockey sticks are made for you. They're at a price point you can't beat, so check them out today at prorock.com. Play like a Pro Rock.
Refreshingly different, Cocoa Vodka and Cocoa Rum is a vacation in a can. The best drink you'll ever have is now on more shelves than ever. Enjoy the Cocoa Life made with high-quality ingredients. Check us out today at enjoycocoa.com. We are the real deal. Cocoa Vodka and Cocoa Rum.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Now, anytime we get to talk tendies, it's a good time, of course, being a
anytime.
former goaltender. Hey, World Hockey Person by Lordco Auto Parts, the one-stop shop for quality RV, car, truck, or marine parts and accessories. We're coming to you live here. It's June 9th. It's a beautiful day outside. It's golf weather. And of course, if you're looking for something to sip on while you're swinging the sticks, Cocoa Vodka, Cocoa Rum, they are the absolute best. Trust me on this one. You need it. If you're watching the NHL playoffs, refreshingly different Cocoa Vodka, Cocoa Rum. New cans coming out here in Canada. Flavors are next. Enjoy the Cocoa Life with us. High quality ingredients, no fillers, no beer bloat, no cheap liquor. Cocoa Vodka, Cocoa Rum. You will not be disappointed. Hit us up in the chat anytime at World Hockey RPT. You got any comments, any thoughts, any questions for our next guest? I'm on Twitter at Janner31. Katie's there at Katie Loris. Time to bring on our next guest from inside InGoal Magazine. Goalie analyst, Catherine Silverman. Catherine, thank you for hopping on here. We appreciate you taking time on this Wednesday morning. And I got to ask, you're down in Arizona. What was it like seeing Darcy Kemper absolutely steal the show at the IIHF Worlds, turned it into Top Gear? And I mean, wins a gold for Canada almost single-handedly. He was the difference maker. But also, where do you think this puts him amongst NHL goaltenders now?
It made me kind of nervous because I think it was the first game that they played, the second or third, where it was against USA and he was just getting toasted. And I was like, oh, good. I'm glad that that's the performance he's putting up for us. It's awesome. But he turned it around. And I think it kind of keeps him kind of right where he is. I don't think that he's the next Carey Price by any stretch. I don't know if that makes anybody sad, but I do think that he's been a very solid starter, like a reliable starter when he's healthy. And watching him do that at the international level too, not just with the team that he's been playing with day in and day out, it was reassuring, I guess is really the best word for it, that he's just solidified himself as being able to be consistent, not just with the same system, but with a team that didn't look like it was as well constructed as it has been in the past, with no offense to Canada.
With no offense to Canada. You're so offended. Hey, Kat, you brought up one name, Carey Price. I don't even have a question. Just can you talk about Carey Price and what the hell is going on?
Whatever lucky stick he got smacked with in between the end of the regular season and the first round. No, he's been such a phenomenally talented goaltender for years now. And we talk about guys who play behind a team that doesn't really give them the strongest opportunity to relax at times and to have the game stolen for them here and there. That's Carey Price. The Canadians have been not the most defensively sound team the NHL has ever iced, and he's remained at worst league average over the last 4 or 5 years, and I think that's pretty impressive given the teams that he's had to work with and the workload that he's had. And it just seems like for whatever reason, all the pieces kind of came together. And he's not to throw away all the scientific terms, but like he's vibing out there. He's having the time of his life. And it shows, you know, when he's able to play in almost a more stress-free environment. It's still the playoffs, but in a situation where he's not playing for his reputation there, because for a while there, it really seemed like that's what he was having to do in Montreal. He's any games they win in the playoffs are considered like that's gravy for them. So it takes a little bit of that pressure off, and he's having a little bit more fun, and it shows. I think they're a fun team to watch right now for everyone, but Toronto and Winnipeg fans. So,
well, and backing off that, because you're right, there is so much pressure. I'm curious to get your thoughts on the North Division teams being in America, because in Canada we get so deeply wrapped up in it, and it's so personal for so many of us. And there's so many storylines of which directions these teams could go. So the Flames have questions, the Canucks obviously do, the Leafs. God. But then the Sens have a few cool pieces coming up too. In terms of Canadian teams, which situation would you want to be in, and which would you not want to be in right now?
I wouldn't want to be in Vancouver. Just right off the bat, that's
no way you guys didn't script this out beforehand.
Yeah, we didn't. I promise we didn't. No, I know a lot of people would say Toronto, right? They'd say, "Oh, this team just cannot get away from that first round curse." That's the team that I wouldn't want anything to do with, and that's okay. I think that's going to be a tough team to be with over the summer as they figure out where they're going. But they're still a top team, right? They're struggling a little bit in the playoffs, but they're still a quality team. They still have a reasonably assembled roster, and I know Ottawa's a team that I've had people with teams tell me that they wouldn't want to be there. I've had analysts tell me they wouldn't want to be there. It sometimes shows on the ice. But this year, it seems like for the first time, probably since that weird playoff run they had 4 or 5 years back, they're a team that it doesn't seem like the players just wanted to get out of there. It seems like they were having fun playing. And I think that's kind of a bright future. And Winnipeg's another team. I mean, they've got a Vezina caliber goaltender. It's hard to complain about that. Montreal's obviously the place to be right now because they're the only one that made it out of the first couple of rounds of the playoffs. But really, that leaves the west of Canada. That leaves Alberta, Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver. And with no disrespect to the chaos in Edmonton and Calgary, because they each have their own special little bouts of confusion. I think at Vancouver, it seems like every week there's something that team either has unearthed, or there are so many leaks within that team. I mean, it seems like every week we hear another story from inside the front office about something that went wrong with decision making or trades or conversations that weren't had. Most recently, it was the rumors about Tyler Toffoli claiming that he told his agent, please sign me, get a deal done with Vancouver. And then he said that no deal was ever made, like no deal was ever offered. And I don't know if that's a situation that I would willingly put myself in, just because I don't know what direction it's going to go. It could feasibly still go down a little bit because they have talent on their roster. They could strip it like Ottawa. I hope they don't, but they could head up. They could also just veer off in a different direction of messy. I think it's that one has the least certainty for me. And that's in hockey. It's about certainty, right? At least for the players, you want to be somewhere that you feel confident in what you have, whether it's a rebuilding roster or a playoff team. And I think that it's pretty impossible to tell which one of those Vancouver is. So
Well, Catherine, I could ask you a million questions about the Edmonton Oilers and Calgary Flames, but I got one last one for you here. Who's your favorite goaltending prospect or up-and-comer right now in the league? Obviously, I think the league's in good hands with a lot of these goaltending prospects coming up, but is there one that really sticks out to you?
Can I name like 5?
Yeah.
That's breaking the rules, but we'll allow it.
Goaltending prospects have this sort of wave that they go through where as they build up certain technique and development systems, we get better and better, and then it's almost like they overcoach it a little bit, and we see that little dip, and then we see them rising again. And I think we're currently in one of those we're almost in like the era that gave us Fleury and Lundqvist and Corey Crawford. And I think that's kind of what we're about to enter right now with this current crop of goaltenders. We've got guys like Spencer Knight, who I guess is still considered a prospect, but has proven he can play NHL playoff games and look like he's not riding on adrenaline. He's riding on technique too. And we've got guys like Igor Shesterkin, Ilya Sorokin. We have the guys who haven't even hit the NHL yet, like we have Hugo Alnefelt, who is in I believe he's one of Tampa's prospects, unless they've weirdly dealt him away like they do sometimes. And he's a super promising guy out of Sweden. We have I'm a big fan of Trent Miner. I think that he's going to be a lot of fun. I believe he's in Calgary. I think that the Colorado Avalanche always have 2 or 3 guys who seem like they could feasibly be a very good starter. Right now they have Justice Anunen, who I think is one of the most promising guys out of Finland in a really long time. And then I think there's also Yaroslav Askarov. And it's the fact that he's almost like an afterthought, adding him in there too. I mean, there's so many names. When you go basically to every division, there's 2 or 3 guys who seem like they could be legitimate starters. And that to me that's exciting. For a while there, we went through a little lull where it seemed like maybe there weren't a ton of grade A goaltending prospects. And it's nice to see that we do have so many of them coming up. Hopefully I mentioned everyone's favorite team.
Oh, that's awesome. Pat, I just have one last question for you, and then we'll let you go. I want to ask you about the rise of popularity in hockey in Arizona, specifically women's hockey. So the Arizona Kachinas under-14 team made it to nationals this year. They released a 5-part mini-series highlighting the team. Let's file this thing under things we like to see.
The things we love to see, even.
Love to see.
Yeah, it's I know that it seems like every year, kind of like with Vancouver, how there's some new and fun disaster every week. In Arizona, it seems like there's always something that people in Hamilton, Ontario, and Quebec City are like, this is why you should move the team here. And it's good to see that, especially the women's growth in Arizona has just taken off. They used their grassroots money to start a program from learn to skate up through high school, where they have a team now at every age group. And they have it split so that once you reach, I think it's age 13, there's travel. So there's club programs starting with that U14 going up. And then there's high school too. So you can just play high school hockey. And if you play if you play boys hockey and girls hockey, if you play them both, you get a discount. So it sort of encourages those girls who are a little too good to be playing with the girls team and think that they're getting their better development with the boys. Encourages them to stay so we're not losing that talent. Because for a while, that was a big issue. They were having girls either go to the boys programs or leave for prep schools back east. And so once you hit about age 12, there was just this giant talent drain. And we've seen the numbers retention's been huge. That U14 team in the Rocky Mountain division, I believe they're a 2A team right now. They were the best team by like a wide margin. It really took them making it 2 nationals and playing these teams from Massachusetts and Minnesota to really start losing games. And it's retaining that talent. It's getting more eyeballs on the game. It's getting more eyeballs on the women's game out west, because we really don't have a ton of staying power right there. We don't have any D1 programs for girls at the collegiate level out west. So hopefully it's just setting up that opportunity to maybe have ASU's women's program do what the men's did, where they went from ACHA to D1. Maybe the women's can do that next.
We love to see it. Well, Kat, you've said it all. Thanks so much for joining us. You can follow Kat on Twitter at @CatMSilverman for all the goalie updates and updates.
Oh,
Her hilarious, legendary daughter, who is one of the funniest humans on social media.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thanks,
I'm
Kat.
excited she got a shout out.
Thanks again. Right there, Catherine Silverman. That was awesome. That was good. I like that last question. Definitely something that's, I don't think most people would understand the challenges that Arizona, California, some of those southern states go through with minor hockey, where costs are way through the roof. And, I got to see some of that, obviously on the boys' men's side, where it's tough to build a minor hockey program when you have to travel further than anyone else for these games. You have to travel further for quality. So to have a team like the Arizona Coyotes backing those programs, that's awesome. And you got to tip your hat to that. But we got to head off to commercial break here. When we come back, we're going to talk the technical side of hockey. It's video coach Mitch Giguere joining us here on 12 Ounce Sports.
Lordco Auto Parts has been a household name in communities across Western Canada since 1974. Lordco is proudly Canadian owned and operated, and now they're in Edmonton. Carrying much more than just car parts, their newest store in St. Albert Trail Northwest has a huge selection of aftermarket auto parts and accessories. Visit them today for an exceptional customer experience or learn more about their products and services at lordco.com.
Take your game to the next level with Pro Rock hockey sticks. Pro Rock is changing the way we buy top-of-the-line twigs. They're lightweight, balanced, and provide the perfect kick point, whether you're a pro hockey player or a beer league legend. Pro Rock hockey sticks are made for you. They're at a price point you can't beat, so check them out today at prorock.com. Play like a Pro Rock.
Refreshingly different, Cocoa Vodka and Cocoa Rum is a vacation in a can. The best drink you'll ever have is now on more shelves than ever. Enjoy the Cocoa life made with high-quality ingredients. Check us out today at enjoycocoa.com. We are the real deal. Cocoa Vodka and Cocoa Rum.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
What's going on? World Hockey Report, Cody Janzen here, presented by Lordco Auto Parts. Learn more at lordco.com. Follow them on social media at Lordco Parts. We also, of course, you guys already know those Coho hats are absolutely fire. TPS, all the classic branding. Yeah, you got a chance to win those after the next Game 7. We'll host a talk space for you guys. We'll get you hooked up with all that great swag. And our next guest brought to you by Billy Smelling Salts. Time to ditch the energy drinks and coffee. Get ready to win with Billy Smelling Salts. They're designed for athletes looking to get in the zone. Billy Smelling Salts rapidly increase energy levels through brief sniffing. Support Canadian business. Go check them out today at shopbillys.co, not com.co. Plus, punch in the promo code WHR for an extra 10% off. Of course, use responsibly. Katie, were you just crushing coffee there? Was that why you lifted your coffee mug?
Yeah.
Well, no shame.
That's today's mood.
Well, hey, maybe we got to get you a World Hockey Report 1. Our next guest, though, KHL video coach, Torpedo Nizhny, Novgorod. I believe I said it half correct. It's probably terrible. Mitch Giguere, what's going on? Hey, actually, first question. No chance you're related to JS Giguere, are you?
No, not a
Oh,
ton.
okay. Well, now I'm disappointed. We'll just end the interview. No,
No,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Mitch,
have a good one.
no, he was one of my favorites growing up. Mitch, tell us your story. It's really intriguing. I've obviously, looked up and stuff, and I know you followed us for a while. What got you into hockey? When did you know you wanted to start getting to coaching? And, what led to this journey you've been on?
Like we could probably talk for days about how everything started and where I'm at right now, but I'll try to keep it simple. So I was playing, went to some training camp, junior, stopped playing, stopped working, start making my life, and at 21-year-old I started playing again with senior, and I got hurt, got injured at the leg, and I started coaching the same team that I was playing for, just for having fun, being with the boys and everything. And like 2 years after, minor hockey called me saying, "Hey Mitch, we're looking for coaches here in Quebec. The hockey's in school, so every day of the week they're having practice." So I started at the school being a coach without even thinking one day I can make a living out of it. And a couple of years later, I was AAA midget. I was head coach. I was a scout in major junior, going back and forth. And after that, we moved out to Winnipeg. I worked in the NJHL over there. I was head coach, assistant coach, GM, worked in the WHL. And again, that's really a short story. And I'll say last year we made a move to leave Winnipeg to come back here in Quebec because I have a wife and we have 4 kids together. So 13, 11, 5, and 4 years old. And at the same time, I was doing, like, I'm a video coach, but like down the road, I've been coached for 15 years, I think, right now, and I've been a video coach only for like a year and a half or 2 years. Always done video on YouTube, Twitter, and you can see me on social media. But last year, throughout the summer, a KHL team reached out to me, Max, who's the GM now, and we just start talking about video, about hockey and everything. And in August, he reached out to me saying, "Hey, Mitch, we're looking to add a new video coach. Do you want to apply?" I was like, KHL, wow, yes, that's the dream, that's the goal. So I apply, and funny story. So they sent me, so the test or the interview was breaking down a game, and he said, "Here's the footage, here's the game. I want you to break down server stall." And I was like, okay, fine. But he sent me the footage in Russian. So like everyone's talking in Russian, obviously, but the letters and everything was in Russian, and they were kind of wearing their third jersey without the primary logo, both teams. So it was like the yellow and the green team. I didn't know which one I had to look. So it took me a good hour and a half, Google, trying to translate and everything, because could you imagine you do the interview and you break down the wrong team? So anyway, so everything happened. The head coach calling me saying, "Mitch, what you've done, it's beyond and above. We want you on board." So I started working for them, and I started remotely, so from home, because with the COVID and everything, it was kind of complicated. And after Christmas, I left home, and I've been there, 2 months and a half there for the last run of the season, make the playoffs. And I came back here, my house on March 19, I think, after losing in the first round.
Oh, sorry, technical difficulties here. Mitch, you brought up your path down the road. Are there any plans for what's next? There just seems to be so many different directions and opportunities with hockey now, coaching, especially with the rise of video technology and analytics.
It's, video, it's beyond and above. Like, it's funny because 2 weeks ago, I started learning how to use After Effects. So now, let's say my video on YouTube, I have the same Sportsnet casting. I'll say, the name above the player, following him, like the shadow and everything. The next thing is, right now, I'm talking with Torpedo, so they want me back. I want to go back there. So it's just a matter of finishing the contract. I'll say, like, just having the contract on paper and signing at the bottom. So that's the plan, to go there for a full year or half and half, depending on what. But I love doing video. Video is a great way it's a great opportunity to be pro, and that's why I'm a pro coach now. But down the road, I will love to just go back as an assistant coach, because being on the ice, coaching behind the bench, it's what I like. The good thing when I was with Torpedo over there is I was not only the video guy. I'll almost say I was not the video guy. like while we were playing, I was the eye in the sky. So I was standing in the stands, watching, analyzing. In between periods, I was telling what's going on to the coaches. In practice, I was working with forwards. I was working with centermen. Even if 90% of the team doesn't speak English, I figured out a way so I can communicate with them. I was taking a player who was speaking English and Russian, obviously, and he was helping me out. Or I was, let's say, working on the face-off, I was taking their blades and trying to show, by mimics and things like that. So the goal is to stay at the pro level. I love Torpedo. It's a great organization. I really enjoy my time with Max and Dave, the head coach. The coaching staff was amazing. I never had so much fun like that while I was there. But obviously, like for me, do a living with hockey, it's the priority. And after that, being at the highest level is the second one. And right now, I'm just lucky I have both.
That's a pretty good priority to lead the career with.
Yeah.
Mitch, I want to ask you about Chris Weidman. So incredible season, 41 points in 59 games, just named Defensive of the Year in the KHL. What do you attribute this success to?
First, he's a good guy. He's a good kid. He's a great person. He competes. He loves playing. He loves to get better, but he competes every single time, even in practice. Like, it's funny because I've seen him being pissed off in practice and almost doing a slap shot to another player because he was pissed off, So this is how much you love competing and you love showing up. Why he had success? Many reasons. I think, obviously, the size of the rink, because NHL it's 26 feet with the size of the rink. In KHL it's 28, and you got the Olympic 30. So having that 2 feet more, it's a huge advantage. So you got more time, more space, obviously. The second thing, there's a lot of body check, but not like as the NHL or a guy like Chris. He can't skate around. He can't escape. You got more time, more space to make anything. Carrying the puck, making plays in the offensive zone. So that's why he had a lot of success. And obviously, he's a defenseman. But his IQ with the puck is beyond and above. Like, we can see that was his first year as a KHL. Usually players need at least a season to figure it out. Bigger eyes, new teammates, new system, not the same language. For him, he showed up and he was the main guy. He was running the first power play, finished with the most points in the league. He got the record now with Torpedo most points by a D-man. So his IQ, his skating, the way he competes, and even without the puck, like I was talking with Ozzy, Sandis Ozolin, who was the coach with Torpedo for the D-man, the way he retrieved the puck below the goal line in their own zone, it's beyond and above. The way he can just kind of roll with the hit, slick hands, it's things that you just cannot teach. Even Sandis, like he's a Hall of Famer guy, he was like, I don't even know how he's doing it. The way he's retrieving the puck, cutting his hands, turning, still having the puck without getting hit, I don't know. I need to ask him. So this is just how good he is. And again, he loves playing hockey. You compete on the ice, and you got a great IQ. So that's why he had a lot of success this year.
Let us
Mitch,
know when you ask them.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Mitch, I got one last one for you, though. And obviously there's been an influx of players jumping right from the KHL to the NHL and having immediate success. I mean, they're jumping in as superstars. So what really sets a league like the KHL apart from the AHL? Is it the coaching development? Is it just how much of a higher level the players are, the pros they're bringing in? Or what really is making for this transition for guys like Sorokin, Kaprizov that jump into the NHL and they can hop into a top line D pairing, top end starting goaltender, top line forward?
The biggest difference is, I'd say Kaprizov, he's 24 this year, if I'm right. He already played like 3 or 4 years in the KHL, and he played with men's before. So if we compare with junior players that are turning 18 and they're playing in the NHL at 19, the gap is huge. In the KHL, they can start playing the KHL at 18, 19. So they have more years to understand. So that's the first thing. The other thing, too, is the width of the ice and everything. Players are, I'll not say allowed to play more with the puck, but you have more time and space. So if you have more time and space, you keep the puck a little bit longer. So that's the biggest difference. Now, if we want to compare the AHL with the KHL. Obviously, AHL is more structure, video structure. You have to follow this. You're going to do this forecheck, and it's, up and down. KHL, I will not say it's less structure, but it's more skills, way more skills, more, even if I'll even say it's more skills, more offense, because it's dump and chase. They are forecheck, don't get me wrong, but most of the time, if you don't have an on-man rush, instead of dump and chase, it's just going to turn back, give it back to the D, and we're going to do a regroup or a transition. So that's the biggest thing. So that's why some of the American Hockey League players can do great transition, and some KHL players, same thing. But some of them, because they can't handle the pressure, or they are not a good skater, so that's why they struggle. So that's why when we kind of recruiting or looking at the players, we have some specific thing that we have to look to make sure if we will have success. Points is one, but it's not everything.
Mitch, we appreciate you taking the time here. We hope you get a deal worked out in Torpedo again. And hey, I think a couple of years, maybe we'll see you, on an NHL staff someday.
Maybe.
Thank you so much for taking the time here this morning, Mitch. Take care.
Thanks for having me.
Mitch Giguere right there, video coach, Torpedo. We won't say the town name again because I probably butchered that. But it's interesting. I love the facts he brings up. And, when Austin Matthews went over to Switzerland, I feel like the same thing kind of happened there. Instead of going major juniors, college, American League, he had that bigger ice he got to develop, and his transition into the NHL, well, he had like 4 goals in his first game. I don't think we'll factor that into Switzerland, but there's my thoughts there. But interesting, good interview. What did you take from that one?
Yeah, just exactly that. And especially what he was saying about Weidman, I thought it was so interesting because just everything about time and space. And I don't really think, I didn't play hockey, so there are still a lot of things that I'm learning in the media of just the ins and outs of the game, and just stories like that. I just love hearing because it helps me understand.
His journey's wild.
I know, I love it.
That's awesome just to hear that. Of course, be sure to connect with us on Twitter anytime at World Hockey RPT. I'm on Twitter at Jenner31. Katie's there at Katie Loris. Quack Stats benching. Okay, who are we going to bench today for our friends at Quack Stats, the most advanced player tracking technology? Follow them today on Instagram at quack_stats, and go check the web out now up. Mine's simple. I'm benching Bruce Cassidy. There's nothing I hate more than the people whining about refs. Shut up and ref yourself if you want them to be that good.
That's a good one. I like that. I'll bench him too. Mine is anyone who at a live sporting event, especially after a global pandemic, that's going to start the wave. That's who I'm benching. I didn't sit in these 4 walls for the last 75 months just so I could go to my first live sporting event and have some jabroni down at the bottom trying to get me to do the wave. Not happening.
I've never been a wave person, though. I'm not fan. I'm the boring fan. I'm fine with, just sitting there being quiet, maybe
like
having a pop.
Fan?
Well, yeah, it's, I don't know. People are insane. It's wild to see the barns go crazy, like Vegas, Boston. The Coliseum's going to be absolutely rocking. That transitions well into our bet of the night. MyBookie.ag, use promo code 120Z Sports. I'm going to hammer the over today, goals-wise, 4.5, 5.5, whatever you can get it at goals in the Boston Isles series, because I think the Coliseum's going to be buzzing, and they're going to feed off that energy.
Okay, I love that. I'm going Isles regulation win.
Wow. They're closing it out. You don't want a game 7? You hate game 7s or what?
Get real. I love game 7s. I hope for a game 7. Tuukka, I think, is really hurt. They're so banged up on defense. I see Isles in regulation.
Wow. Sorry, Bruins. You're done. We're going to be down to 5 if Katie's prediction comes true. Don't forget, download the podcast, the Hockey Podcast Network. They're presenting it. So download, rate, subscribe wherever you get your podcast from. I didn't get your thoughts on a couple of things, so rapid fire while we got a minute left here. Yeah. Andre Palat, that hit. 2-minute minor, worth it? Is he going to get a suspension or a fine? What do you think?
I wasn't a fan of it. I thought he extended the elbow and it caught a lot of the head. I don't think he's a dirty player. I think it was a dirty hit, and I will say I would suspend 2 games.
But you think Mark Scheifele's a dirty player? Okay, we're not going to bring that one back. Also, Montreal, are they going to stand a chance against Vegas here?
Yep. I don't know what else to say, but think about how wrong we've been the entire time. We can look at the matchups between those two teams, and then you just look at the Habs are built for the playoffs. They're structured so well. Price is playing out of his mind. Cole Caulfield's stepping up. The young guys are doing their jobs. Leaders are leading. Habs are in it.
They just kind of do everything right. They can win a 1-0 game. They can win a 5-4 game. Their top 4 D-men are just absolute men built for playoffs. It's exactly what I see in St. Louis when they won. They've got a hot goaltender. We'll make that Jordan Binnington comparison because I know he's one of your top 3 favorites. And I don't know. I just think Montreal has what it takes this year to compete. They're going to be well rested, especially if Vegas and Colorado go 7 where they're beating the piss out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Montreal's got more of a chance than people think.
I think so.
And now that I'm thinking it, I'm probably way wrong, and they're going to get swept.
But I mean, at least we'll be consistent. We'll be consistently wrong through the whole playoffs.
Consistency is key. Huge thanks to our guests, Catherine Silverman, Mitch Giguere, for hopping on the show. Big thanks to the sponsors who make it possible: Lordco Auto Parts, Coco Vodka, Coco Rum, Pro Rock Hockey Sticks, Billy Smelling Salts, Quack Stats, MyBookie.ag, the Hockey Podcast Network, 12 Ounce Sports, and everyone. You know what? Have a good one. You know, it's nice. We're getting back to normal. I'm happy. I can finally say things are looking up. We're getting back to normal. Get those, get your jab. Just do it. Do it. Don't complain. Yeah. Well, woohoo. Best of luck to you. Hopefully none of the side effects come true. But again, we're getting closer to being back in rinks. So everyone, be kind, be better.